Welcome to Next Chapter Women, She Blooms in Solitude, a podcast for moms over 40 with independent or young adult children ready to rediscover who they are now. I'm Jess Bordas, joined by my co-host Maureen Mansi, and each week we'll uncover how to heal, grow, and reconnect with your inner strength through intentional alone time, emotional wellness, holistic care, and powerful mindset shifts so you can define your identity and reshape what middle age means for you. As certified mindset and identity coaches, holistic practitioners, and moms navigating midlife ourselves, we're here to walk with you. Join us in using solitude as the foundation to bloom again. Okay, hello. Welcome to another episode of Next Chapter Women, She Blooms in Solitude, the podcast. I am joined by my co-host, Maureen, and we are so happy to have you here. Today's episode is Top 3 Mistakes Empty Nest Moms Are Making. If you're a mother that was super, super hands-on and you gave your all to your children, and now they're grown up, they're independent, maybe they left for college, maybe they didn't, maybe they're still living at home, but they're all grown up. There's chances that you are living a life with at least one of these 3 limiting beliefs. And in today's episode, we're going to break down how these false narratives are preventing you from stepping confidently into the woman that you are meant to be. And we're also going to show you some action steps that you can take to activate your next chapter identity. So we will get right into it. Mistake number 1, clinging to the mom identity. And that basically looks like, hey, I don't know who I am without being a mom. So I keep clinging to the role that I know, which I feel is something that you would naturally do when you've been a mom for so long, almost 2 decades, and this is the identity that you naturally developed. Of course, you're going to cling to what you know. Why is this a problem? Well, it's a problem because it's keeping you stuck in the past instead of shifting into a new and aligned chapter. So, emotionally, sometimes this can show up as emptiness, it can show up as guilt for wanting something more, it can show up as confusion about who you are now. I know that really happened to me, the confusion about who I am now, that part. And yeah, what do you think about all that, Maureen? Like talking
Yeah.
about why it's a problem to be stuck and clinging to that mom identity that you naturally had for so long, but your role has changed.
Right. So again, it's who you have been for almost the last 2 decades. So that's something that you've just every day you wake up, you're a mom, you're a parent, you're helping your kids, you're supporting your kids, whatever they're doing, you're making dinner. You just step into that role of your motherly duties. And for me, it's to the point where like you feel like you lose your purpose when that part of you is over and you're like, "What do I do?" Like that's all I know. So I believe that you can definitely have a new identity because you have to create that for yourself. But it's using tools or learning tools to get you to do and be that next chapter person. If Because you have to know your worth. You have to know you're worth it. Because you have a long life to live still now that your kids are up and grown and doing their own thing.
Yeah, and I don't know if any of the people listening, are like me, but when I talked about this in a different episode, is the feeling of success for me wasn't measured by my income or certain jobs that I had. I felt that being a success would be achieved by being an amazing mom. And when I felt that I was being an amazing mom, I felt successful. Like that's just, So then all of a sudden, fast forward to your kids are like their senior year of high school or whatever part of high school, or they turn 18, they're still living at home, or they go off to college. And it's like, okay, now what? It can be very confusing because you're talking about something like complete reinvention of yourself. And reinventing yourself or rediscovering yourself, it's called that for a reason, because you're going to try to tap into parts of, like, let's look at two things. Who I was before, what core values do I have now that still align with that person I was before, but also who have I become? Who am I now? Because a lot of the person that we were before, we're not that same person. I might not even be the same person that I was a year ago, half a year ago. We're constantly evolving and changing. I don't know how you feel about any of that.
Well, no, absolutely. So, as I have a senior in high school, I went from while he was learning how to drive last year to doing a lot of running around back and forth. So I was still having to be like really in his life because he didn't have his license yet. And so I was still taking him to school and I was picking him up from school and I work from home. And, it was easy to do that because I work from home now since COVID. But it got to the point where now he has his license and this year he has a job and I work from home, so he can just take the car now. He has his license. And it's like, now I'm home all the time. He drives more than me. So I was feeling at a place where it was like, oh, I need to get out because I was so used to doing all that running around for him. And then I realized that now, because I have done some work with going through this, that I feel okay with him doing it. He's independent and it's actually helping me out because I'm not doing all the running around that I was used to. But it took a while to get to that point. So just like
Yeah, because it can be really scary to think about letting go of who you were. It's a scary thing. But I think that what happens is maybe an aha moment is when you have that shift of reframing the thinking as this could be a place to start to embrace change. It's like you have the ability to make the shift because you've already done it. So if you think about all of the developmental milestones that your child went through the course of their life, infancy and as a toddler, and you had to pivot as a mom. You had to change your role, right? So this is really just an extension of this, and it really is in how you see it. So using it as a time to embrace change and as an opportunity to get back to yourself, to reconnect with yourself, to that person that you had to put aside and that you put up on a shelf because that's what we do. That's just how we are as moms.
right. It's becoming you're becoming a separate person from them. You are separate from them, but you're becoming independent because they're becoming more independent. So you're wanting to reinvent, like, okay, now that they're older, I'm happy, but what do I want to do for myself now? Am I worth it? Am I worth, pursuing, learning something new, going out and walking in nature, taking the moments that you're alone because you have more time and really, just enjoying that time. I know a lot of times we can use distraction and getting together with people and being on the phone all the time or being on social media all the time. That's a good way to say, oh, okay, as long as I stay busy, I'm okay. I think this
Yeah.
might be getting into it like another thing though, as far
No, no. I mean, the first part of what you said that was so huge that I loved was getting to a place where asking yourself, am I worth it? And then making that realization, I am worth it. This is our time. It can be very empowering, but it's like you said, in order for it to be empowering, you have to come to a place of where we talk a lot about in our work that we do. Our business is all centered around solitude and the beauty of solitude and how that lets you build connection to yourself. So, what we're trying to say is that these are things that naturally happen because of your role as a mom, but there are ways that you can start to feel better once your kids are older. There's ways to address this.
Yes, absolutely.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it involves getting back to you and what's important to you before you took on that role as mom, because you're change as a mom, and everything becomes about your children. And it's so easy for us to say, you always put your child first, or, I never put myself first. But you have to get to that, back to that place where you say, no, I have to put myself first in order to live my best life. I have to know my worth. And your kids now will if they love you and they know the work you did, they're going to be happy that you're doing something for yourself, and that they're happy that they're getting on their own, and that you're doing something for yourself now, separate from them. That is a healthy way of being in a child parent relationship,
Very, very healthy way.
and not selfish at all. Not selfish at all to feel
No,
that way.
because you are worth it, and once you start to let go, reframe the thinking, "Okay, I'm still mom. I'm still mom, but I'm showing up differently now as mom," and just to think to yourself that you've already done this multiple times before as your kids have been growing. But the best part, I think, of letting go or learning to let go, because it doesn't just happen at the snap of fingers, it's a process that you learn to let go, is you'll see that you become emotionally lighter, and then that's a place where you become free to start doing this work on the inside. So what we're saying is that a new identity, that sounds like a lot of pressure. Hey, you got to come up with a new identity.
Right.
Goodness gracious. Okay. What the heck does that mean? And don't go
Hmm.
on social media to find it. Do not go on social media to try to figure that out,
Mm.
because that's going to make it worse. You start comparing yourself. You start looking at their transformations. We weren't on social media. I got on it recently, and thank because of this business. And I mean, that is not
Well, so.
that is not nice to help you try to find your new identity. Okay. But a new identity isn't really what we're talking about, is not replacing motherhood. It's not replacing anything. We're just talking about expanding into this part of yourself that was put on pause. That's what we're talking about here. So,
Yeah,
if anything
absolutely.
to add to that,
I mean, I'm going to go back to, but it all starts in here. Has to start here. Well, how can you get there, right? It's making room for you to get quiet and realize, like, hey, I'm worth it, because everything works inside of you, inwardly, and then the outer stuff can come. But you got to do some soul searching, some listening, in the quiet moments that you allow yourself, that you give yourself permission in, however that looks like for you. Whether it would be, sitting in a room, in a quiet room, or putting on a meditation, or going out in nature and just listening to nature, or journaling and reflecting on all the good, and just really getting back to what's important to you as a person, and separate from your.
you're going to discover that along the way. What's important to you. It's not
Mhm.
like you're just going to meditate once and go like, "Oh, I haven't." But I feel like we're so pressured when it comes to that, to figuring out who we are, to be on everyone else's timeline. It's just easy to get caught up. But I think that this is a good point to lead into mistake number 2, which I know that we'll speak very passionately about, which is thinking that a new hobby, just getting a new hobby, is going to fix this problem. Okay. So thinking, hey, maybe I'm just going to sign up for this class. I'm going to take an extra class at the gym. I'm going to work overtime, and this is going to be the new me. You just got to stay busy. I got to get this gym membership going. Like hobbies aren't the problem. That's fine. You can have hobbies. This is part of self-discovery. But what that truly is doing is adding in activity, not identity. And this goes back to what you were talking about distractions.
Exactly. So when we're looking for something outside of ourselves again, whether it's, joining a new gym class, or uh, going out to dinner with friends 2 times a week, or working overtime. You're literally just burying the real problem here. Being busy isn't finding yourself and finding true joy and purpose. That's not it. That's just covering it up, brushing it under the rug.
Yes, yes, so true. It's treating a symptom, whether that be like, I'm bored, I'm restless, I'm confused. It's not going to that root cause. I don't know if that is where you're
Right.
going with that.
Yeah, I mean, when we're never going to get to the root of how we're feeling and where we want to go and how we want to have a fulfilled life if we always just keep busy, keep busy, keep busy. If we're trying to find our next chapter, it's again getting back to the heart of who we are before, we had kids. I mean, I'm not saying, like, we're not saying that, your kids aren't important. I'm always going to be a mom. But what is your true happiness after you've done your work with your children? And does it mean like getting busier? I guess it's different for everybody depending on what you're influenced by on a regular basis, or what you allow in your life to get you to think what's important, right? I mean, I know for me, less distraction is better. I don't go on social media a lot. I don't watch the news. I spend a lot of time by myself, just without a lot of things around me influencing my thoughts, my thought processes, or something, because we're so in this world, especially in the social media world, we can be so influenced by everything we're looking at regularly. We're on our phones, we're on all the platforms, and we're consuming rather than recreating
We're consuming.
self,
Yeah,
consuming.
that's true. And the thing is that we don't want people listening to think that we're saying like, okay, you need to lock yourself in the house. We're not saying that these things are bad to have hobbies and explore like the things that you like or what you might be into now, but we're talking about having this designated time in solitude to start to learn more about and improve and connect with yourself. That's what we're
Right.
talking. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. All right. So then that would take us to, well, you know what? Actually, we could talk about when we're in, solitude, using some of those mindful practices, things that the listener can do to get quiet, things you could do to create space for self discovery. You talked about how you meditate, and that's one tool that you use.
I think that, it takes time. And I'm not going to sit here and say that, like, oh, it's so easy to meditate. Oh, it's so easy to get quiet. Or it's so easy to go and catch a couple of deep breaths, because we've trained ourselves to not be with ourselves and notice that the quiet is where we regain who we are, like inside, when we allow ourselves. I mean, if you want to learn how to do it, you don't have to do it all the time. Even if you gave yourself like a few moments of a day and you just took a couple deep breaths in a separate room, even just to get started, to realize that the breath is so important. And we don't even realize as humans that we probably don't even breathe at times. We're just so busy going, 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 going.
Wow, that's so true.
Like, just give yourself time to just take some deep breaths, especially when you're overwhelmed and you don't know what to do. Because when you stop breathing, or you don't give yourself time to breathe, you think about what that's really doing for your next moment. Is it good? Probably not if you're feeling overwhelmed. So I think it's just allowing time for yourself, even if it's brief time, to just take some deep breaths. Just some deep breaths.
I think it's important. This is going to segue into mistake number three, what you talked about. You said the words, you you have to train yourself. So this is something that you and I have in our journey have both worked on for a long time. I'm talking about years. It takes you a while to
Right.
train yourself, which leads into mistake number 3 is believing that you've gotta reinvent yourself. Let's just say, for instance, you don't have to be in this situation. Like your kids can still live at home, but let's say your kid goes off to college and now they're out in their dorm and there's nobody around and you're just kind of twiddling your thumbs. It's just like this isn't something that, it doesn't have to happen overnight. It doesn't have to happen in 6 weeks. It's not going to happen. We want to microwave a miracle. We want to plant a seed and then and then pick a harvest in 2 weeks. Like I'm guilty of that. We all want instant gratification, but
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And to your point, Jess, it doesn't happen overnight. Anything worth having and wanting for yourself takes time. And then when you get into a groove of living a new life with, realizing that you're putting yourself first with, breathing and meditation and getting quiet and realizing solitude's different than loneliness and not having to be around distractions all the time. And you're going to start realizing that it brings out like this totally new part of you that's happy. And but with all the tools that we have incorporated in our lives over the past, 4 and 5 years, like, we keep them going every day. It's maintenance. You don't just say, "Okay,
yes.
I'm in this great place now. Now I'm gonna stop doing what I'm doing." No, it's work, and you're worth it, and that's gonna keep the momentum going for you to have this happy life once you start creating these new things for yourself that bring you back to here, and to you. And
Yeah.
it's a lifestyle change. It's like eating.
It is a lifestyle change.
It's like, okay, I want to lose all this weight and I lost weight and now I lost the weight and I can just go back to eating. No, it's maintaining. You have to live your life that way. It's a lifestyle change. But aren't you worth it? Isn't
Yeah.
your inner soul worth it to keep it
You have
going?
to sometimes you need to hear it though. You need to hear this sometimes from other people. Like, I know it's helped me personally because you keep me grounded, because I think that that's something that, like, as highly driven, highly, like, motivated person and always looking towards that end game and you've helped me a lot to embrace, like, just the right now and just it's okay to slow down. Sometimes you need people to give you
Mhm.
permission.
Yeah,
You
right. Yeah, absolutely. And I feel just too like some mornings I wake up and I'm in my 50s and I'm just like, I need motivation. Sometimes my mind, right? Because that's human, because we are spiritual beings living in this human world, right? So we're spiritual beings having a human experience. So each day I'm not gonna wake up and say that every day is perfect for me because I mean, I work hard to renegotiate negative thinking in my brain. If I can't do it myself, I'll darn sure put on some affirmations that can help me
Yeah.
my mindset. YouTube. I mean, you can pull up anything. I mean, I'll do that. Like, I kind of wake up and say, what do I need today? What do I need spiritually today that's going to help me with where my mind is right now? And I kind of just go with what I feel is going to work for me. So it's normally affirmations, or I'll do a morning meditation with the stretch quick. And then I'll be like, I need yoga today. I need to do
Yeah.
breathing on my yoga mat. Every day looks different with the practices. It's where I feel for me where I am in my head that day. And that's what you can do for yourself. Where are you each day you come to when you wake up in the morning? Because every day is
Yeah. I mean, also outside of the, meditating piece, I know walking has been a huge part of our journey and is a massive tool that we've used to for self-discovery and healing. Walking everywhere, all the time, have to get this steps in. I mean, when I'm able to be outside, walk wherever it is, it doesn't have to be a hike, but that is therapeutic to me. My mind just, that's where I just am able to just let it all go.
yeah.
And Hey, we're back to letting go.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Can I just
So,
say this before we move on?
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
relating. So when Jess and I get together and we do our business stuff together, which has been ongoing, sometimes we get together and we're at a place where like we just need to get out. We need to like let this go. And we go on a walk, and that's when a lot of ideas come to us. And that's where we feel refreshed and revitalized because we got out in nature. We breathe some fresh air. And we come back and we have all these ideas because we kind of let go of sitting inside, pen and paper, having the mind
Yeah.
going. And we're like, let's let it go. Let's walk. We don't go out. We go out with the intention of walking, but it normally helps create some ideas about
I'm
other.
telling you, walking is hugely underrated. Is huge. Serves so many purposes and is good for so many things aside from the exercise that you get physically and, like less impact on the joints and stuff. But people wouldn't think this, but walking can be spiritual. You can have
Walking is
spiritual moments.
spiritual.
You can have spiritual moments walking, no matter where you're walking. Like I talk about all the time that I connect, you know, with nature on a spiritual level, typically when I hike. But you could be walking anywhere and I feel
Absolutely.
like it is just very underrated because it is such an amazing practice. And back to what you said. So with walking, that's something that I try to intentionally do and add to my mornings, like every morning. But you have to allow yourself space because sometimes you get up and you're just not feeling it. But it's drops in the bucket that add up over time.
Absolutely.
I feel like we may have talked about this or said these words, but I want to just read them real quick because I feel like they're so important. And some of these words came from you. I wrote them down. This idea is sort of what we're talking about. The shift happens over time when you start to enjoy the journey. It's not something that you can force or predict. And when you intentionally remove distractions and incorporate specific tools and strategy, you start realizing that the shift is happening around you. Like, I love when you say that. I love that statement. The quiet lets you see the gifts around you that you didn't appreciate before. It starts with the internal work.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so true. And as I live and going back to when I was in a different place, because it wasn't always like this, you always looked for everything outside of yours. I've always looked for everything outside of myself to help bring me self satisfaction and acceptance. And until I
Yeah.
started to go inside and really just because everything comes from here, everything magically just started to change around me. And I wasn't looking for the outer stuff anymore to help make me feel validated as a person. I started to do that myself. I realized I was worth it. And with much work over the years, again, it's not something that happens overnight and magically. That's why this last thing is like, it doesn't happen overnight.
And that's okay.
And it's okay. Absolutely.
Yeah. I love when you talk about that, and I love when you tell me that because sometimes I need to be reminded of that. That helps me a lot. So, I feel like that's the majority of what we wanted to bring to you today about top 3 mistakes. Is there anything that you would like to add to any of this, Maureen?
Yeah. I just to wrap it up, if you know you're worth it, it's worth discovering the things that have helped us grow into the women we are. So, I mean, we would love to help you elevate you into your next chapter. If that's something that, you feel you're worth. We know
Yeah.
you're worth it. Do you know you're worth it?
Yeah, that's wow, it's so powerful. I mean, just like you said, if this sounds familiar in any way, I mean, first of all, know that you're not alone. Like felt these things, we feel them. It can be very overwhelming to figure out how and where to start. And so, to circle back to what you just said, that's why we created our signature Awakened Woman program for women over 40 navigating life with young adult children. So, thank you all so much for being with us today. We would love for you to tune in again and be with us. These are some of the topics and things that we talk about and we'll be discussing. And until next time, see ya. Bye. Thanks for listening to Next Chapter Women, She Blooms in Solitude. We'd love to hear from you, so come say hi on Facebook and share your biggest takeaway from today's episode. And if you're ready to rediscover who you are in this new season, you can learn more about how we can help or book a free empowerment call through the link in the show notes. And don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss what's next.